Hi, this is Michael Bamberger. Welcome to In Conversation With. We're here with a great golf figure, Donald Trump. Donald, it's great to see you again.
Hi, Michael.
We've known each other for a long time. I think we've played probably half a dozen times together.
It's true.
We've never done one of these formal sit-down interviews. You've got so much exciting stuff going on in your golfing life. Let's start with the big news, the PGA Championship coming to Trump Bedminster. How did that come about, and what does that mean to you?
Pete Bavacqua, who's doing a terrific job at the PGA of America, called me and he said he really wanted to have it at my Bedminster course. And we worked out a deal and it'll be there in 2022. And the announcement was so exciting to me. And we also have the Women's US Open at the Bedminster course.
Right,
and that's going to be very exciting. And we had the juniors, we had the USGA juniors. So, and by the way, who won? Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
Okay,
so amazing.
That's usually a sign of a good course when the best player wins. But Jordan won, and he did great. And so we're really looking forward to having the PGA Championship at Bedminster.
And then, of course, the very exciting news about Turnberry.
Correct.
Turnberry is one of the most spectacular places on earth. I know you're going to improve it. I don't know how it can be improved. It's just really one of the most special places in all of golf. But what are your plans for it?
Well, I have great respect, as you know, for the Royal and Ancient and for Peter Dawson. And we won't touch Turnberry unless we have their very express approval on doing it. And maybe they will, and maybe they will want to do something or won't want to do something. But Peter's a terrific guy, and we won't do anything without talking to them. But it's a special place, there's no question about it.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to play that course?
I have. I played it 4 or 5 times, and from the first time I said, boy, it would be great to own this someday. It's going to be great. So hopefully we'll have a championship there, the Open Championship, and I think at some point that will happen. So we have a lot of great places, and we have one that's going to be very exciting, opening up very soon, Ferry Point, right outside of Manhattan. And that's a unique property designed by Jack Nicklaus signature course. And I think when that opens, it's going to be the talk of golf. It's going to be something very special.
Now, Donald, you've got a big business empire. Some years ago, I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago, you estimated for me that your golf portfolio represented 4% of your business empire. But I think it occupies more of your time and your imagination, maybe that. But
it does.
Has the number increased since you told me that 4% number?
Well, the land is great. I have a piece of land, 600 acres in Washington, right on the Potomac River that's so spectacular. I have, as you know, you remember, in Los Angeles, I have an amazing piece of land, 650 acres in Los Angeles, right on the Pacific Ocean, overlooking Catalina Island. I mean, the value of the land is tremendous. It represents a portion. It's not my primary business, but I like it and I have a great passion for it. But I think I have a passion for everything I do, whether it's buildings in Manhattan or owning so many different things, or even The Apprentice, which became such a successful show, which we just finished taping again for season 14, if you can believe it. Wow. So I've had a lot of fun with a lot of things, but I do have a passion for doing great golf courses I think importantly, in really great locations. You know, so often you'll see somebody build a course that's a nice course, and it doesn't do well because it's the wrong location. The location for golf is also very important.
Years ago, you told me that that you never understood gardening. And then when you started getting into golf and golf course purchasing, you said, I finally get gardening.
That's right. I have friends, they love to garden, and they have a little garden and they love it. And now I understand it. They just happen to be, 250-acre gardens.
What % of your time do you spend of your business time do you spend on golf?
Well, I think, now the last month, because of everything that happened with Turnberry in Ireland, that's 500 acres on the Atlantic Ocean, and that's going to be a phenomenal project when we get that one completed. It's almost completed now, but the course is going to be unbelievable when it's finished. And between Turnberry and what I have in Scotland, we're setting records in terms of. And you were the one that actually said to me, I have to tell this to the folks out there, should I do one course or two? You say it's so special, just do one. And you predicted long ago that would be the best of all my courses, and that was before. I've never forgotten that. Is that a correct? You said. You looked at the land, you said this will be your greatest course. And it's gotten tremendous reviews, it's doing tremendous business, and I'm really happy with it. So we've done well with the golf world. My clubs are full, many of them have waiting lists, and I actually think golf is doing very well, much better than the perception.
As you know, the National Golf Foundation is creating this scenario in which we're going to lose millions of golfers, 5 million golfers in the next 5 years. Where is this tremendous bet on golf coming from?
Well, I think the National Golf Foundation is run by a person who's incompetent, virtually incompetent.
Would you fire that person?
I would say you're fired. I spoke to the person because I read an article, and I said, where are you coming up with these numbers? These numbers are wrong. And the National Golf Foundation should, be a positive force, and it's really a negative force. They said over the next 3 years, 20% of the golfers are going to leave golf. That's a ridiculous number.
How do you
and
know?
I said, where do you get that? So I called him up. He said, I was misquoted. I said, well, you were misquoted. Well, are you going to change it? He goes, well, I was thinking about it. And the man, he doesn't have it. So I won't mention names. Why would I want to mention names? But I think the National Golf Foundation, which seems to be the thing that people quote, I think their numbers are totally wrong. I can tell you, only speaking for myself, and speaking for friends that own golf courses, it's the strongest year that I've ever had by far. Now, I have the best locations, I have great courses, but it's the strongest year that I've ever had. If you would have said 4 years ago, it was fine, but it wasn't great. Now it's actually great. Doral is a huge success. I mean, it's a tremendous. We opened the Blue Monster. So I really think the National Golf Foundation has done a tremendous disservice to golf.
But Don, when people talk about the rush of modern life and that they don't have the patience to learn a complicated game like golf and it takes too long, and that our kids' generation, that they're not going to have the interest in golf that our generation did. Do you agree with that, or do you see that, or do you see it differently?
I don't agree. I think a new Tiger comes along. That's what started it to a large extent. It started with Arnold, and it started with Ben Hogan, and there were always people. But Arnold was so good, and Jack and Tiger, and But I disagree, and I think we're bringing the game down with these 15-inch holes, and let's play soccer, golf. Golf should be an aspirational game. We should keep it at a high level and not bring it down because a group of people want to sell some more golf clubs or some more golf balls.
Donald, do you think that's true just for affluent golfers, or do you think as a mainstream sport as it's been, golf will be healthy for years to come?
Well, you have the Olympics. It's booming in Asia. It's booming throughout various parts of the world, absolutely booming. And, people should really report the fact how well it's doing. I have things going on right now in Dubai. That's one of the great courses designed by Gil Hanse, who also did Doral. And it's going to be opening up very soon, and it's Trump International Golf Club. It's in a great location in Dubai. It's going to be a world-class championship course. The European Tour will be using it for major championships and big championships. Golf is booming throughout the world, throughout different parts of the world. I mean, you know what's going on in Asia. And people should be talking about that. They don't talk about it. Instead, we have these characters from the National Golf Foundation, who, by the way, I know some of the board members, they didn't even understand this article. And of course, in all fairness to the man, he said he was totally misquoted. But knowing that group, they're just not a positive force for golf.
Don, I know you love a lot of sports. You grew up playing baseball, and we've talked about that in the past. Where did the golf thing begin for you?
Well, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and I used to play a course called Cobb's Creek, which was a public course.
Yes.
And it was great. It was actually great. I'd go with my friends who would play there. I had friends over there, and it was sort of a hustling course. It was, you had to learn how to play quickly, or it wouldn't be a good situation. And
yes, the great Joe Lewis
in
would
Philadelphia,
hang out there.
right? A lot of people. And I got to know so many people over there, but it was a great experience for me. So I really learned when I was going to college. And then I've just kept it up, and then I'm a member of Wingfoot. I love Wingfoot, it's great. And I'm a member of numerous other places, but mostly I just play my own courses.
Yeah, and what does it bring to you? What is the game? Most people think of golf as a relaxing sport. I personally don't, but many do. But what is it for you?
Well, it's a great thing. I find it to be very beautiful. When you're walking down a beautiful course, not all of them are beautiful, frankly, but some of them are, and you're walking down these beautiful fairways, breathing the air. I think it's very good. I think it's healthy. I also get to know people, Michael, on the course, better, including you, better than you would get to know them by having dinner or lunch or something where you want to get out of there. I mean, I've made many friendships on a golf course that I would have never made. I've made many deals because of it. I've made deals, I can't even tell you how many, where I became friendly with somebody on a golf course. It ends up going into a deal. So many. Golf is an amazing sport for business, and I've really found that it's helped me in business. And I can name at least 2 big buildings that I have that I would absolutely not, and they've been very successful, that I absolutely would not have without golf.
Well, I think people who don't know you wouldn't necessarily know this, and I'm presuming to say that I really know you, but you're a tremendous observer of people, and I have to think that's one of the keys to your business success. And of course, you're a world-class +4 talker, but really, I think at the end of the day, you're more of a people watcher than anything else. And if I bring up a friend like Mike Donald's friend or Jack Nicklaus's friend, you have an insight into the personality, what makes them tick. And do you find that golf helps you in that regard to get an insight into somebody where you can use that?
Well, you learn about people in the course, and not because somebody else has a lot more talent or a lot more physical ability. So you can't say, "Oh, gee, I learned because somebody can't." But you sort of learn about people's honesty on a course. You learn, do they move the ball around? You can see so many different things. You learn about a person's temperament. Like I know a businessman, he's a very conservative guy, and we're playing with another one who's the exact opposite. And the one lays up a 3-wood over a 220-yard creek. And the other one's hitting a wedge. He wants to be short of it, right? And I said, and the one goes in the water, and the other one's short. And I say, it's unbelievable. That's their personalities. The one you would never think would lay up, and the other one you would always think would be. You can just tell learn so much about people.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've noticed in our matches that really when the chips are down, you get very serious. You don't, you stop talking, you start hyper-focusing on your golf, and you often really do get the job done in an effective way. And I'm sure that shows up in other aspects of your life.
Well, I've loved golf, and I love competition, and I've won many club championships, and it's been great, and like a lot of them, and a lot of senior club championships too, which I now start counting in the roster. But you sort of, that's our major. A club, I always tell people, a club championship, no strokes or anything, that's sort of our major. And if you can win that, it tells you a little bit of something. And I have friends that are very good players, really good players, and they can't play in club championships. They just can't do it. They always happen to be away, I say, why aren't you playing? And some of them admit to me they can't sink a 3-foot putt in a club championship. They're normal putters, they're fine, but under that pressure. So, you learn a lot about yourself, but you learn a lot about other people. Golf is really a tremendous thing. And I do love the beauty of creating great courses. I love it. I have a great time, and it's always an honor. I'm on the list for so many of the great courses, including Scotland, which has probably gotten the greatest review. Between that and the Blue Monster, I mean, they've gotten tremendous reviews. But I'm always honored by being on the list so high up.
Among your children, who has the most interest in golf?
Well, it's an interesting question. Ivanka's really coming along. She used to say, I played 2 holes today. Now she plays 18 holes. Eric is very good, and Don, they're becoming much better golfers. They have a lot of natural ability, but they didn't play much. I think they're all pretty much the same now. They really like it, which is very important, because if you would have asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have told you that none of them are really coming along in terms of liking it. They are really liking the game, and they're becoming, much better at it.
What about Baron von Trump?
Well, we're going to see. He seems to have a lot of talent. He's only 8. He just turned 8, but he swings very well. Baron is great.
Yes, I observed that some years ago. Your brother Fred, who I know is one of your great heroes, was he a golfer?
He wasn't, and a terrific guy. Just never did play golf. And my father, I remember playing in Forest Park in Forest Hills with my father, and he didn't really play golf, but I remember how good he was. He had a lot of talent for golf. I've never forgotten. I only played 1 round of golf with him. He never played. But he would take me to Doral. He'd hit balls, but he wasn't really a golfer. But I remember he had a lot of talent.
Now, let's say you're going to be the first person to be the host of 2 Ryder Cups on both sides of the Atlantic.
Well,
what
could happen.
Okay. What courses would you want to see him happen? Any Trump properties?
Well,
I think
I
there were
would.
17.
Okay, I would say that in terms of that, I would say my Washington course on the Potomac would be an amazing place. Bedminster would be an amazing place right outside of New York City. Certainly, Los Angeles would be great, and Doral, the Blue Monster would be fantastic.
Now, the other day, I happened to be visiting with Jack Nicklaus on a matter. Walk out of the office, and there you are. Now, you've known Jack a long time. I think you played a role in the development of your first course in West Palm Beach. Tell us about the history of your relationship with Jack and where it is now.
Well, Jack is somebody, I really didn't know Jack over the years, but I've really gotten to know him, like him, and respect him. First of all, I respect him as a great athlete and a great golfer. That's really the only way I knew him. Jack is an amazing guy. When you get to know him, you get to love him. He's a tough cookie, and he's smart as can be. And I think that Jack is really a great architect. I'm not sure he's certainly recognized as the great golfer and the greatest golfer. But Jack is a great architect. You know, when you see a Jack Nicklaus signature course, and I think he's actually somebody that's honed his craft and gotten better and better. When I take you out to see Ferry Point, which is a Jack Nicklaus signature course, right outside of Manhattan, I think you're going to be really impressed. So I've gotten to really know Jack and like Jack a lot, and I respect him not only as being the greatest player, but as being a great golf architect.
Now, I know you'd be a very passionate sports fan. You just said something extremely interesting. Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer of all time. Of course, many people younger than us would say that Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time. How do you handle that debate in your mind?
And Tiger's a friend of mine, and Tiger couldn't be nicer. And I think Tiger has said, you know, he bases it so much on the majors. And it's interesting because if I was Tiger, maybe I'd say I'll base it on the number of tournaments you won, because I think that's a stat maybe that's not as appreciated.
Oh, I totally agree.
Okay, I mean, Tiger will...
He's the greatest winner in the history of the game by far, because he's beaten the world for years.
Well, Tiger has won, you know, will, I guess, win more than anybody. I guess Sam Snead now has the record.
Yes.
But interestingly, Tiger said, and I've watched him over the years, but he feels the majors are the single most important criteria. So, you know, and based on that, you'd have to say Jack. But both of them are fantastic.
What would be your advice to Tiger to get his mojo back?
Well,
Not
I
his regular
think
golf
he's-
mojo, but in majors.
Yeah, I mean,
Majors
look,
specifically, he's
a
struggled.
big thing is going to be health. I mean, you know, he's still got a lot left. If you think, if he's got 10 years of majors, and if it's for a year, which it will be, it's 40. That's 40 majors. That's a lot of majors that he'll be playing in at a very high level.
Yes.
You look at people winning. You look at how well some of the players are doing at even 50. You look at Fred Couples, how well he's been doing lately, even in the Masters. You know, he did so well, and some others. It's been really good to see. I like to see the older players do so well. So Tiger's got a long time to go, and it'll be interesting to see. It's not going to be easy. The one thing that is tough is you have so many great players today. You've never had this many great players.
Right.
I mean, you have these guys coming out of Sweden and coming out of Asia, and you know they hit the ball a mile, and all of a sudden, I mean, you have a lot of great players, so it's not easy.
That's why I say you can't compare Snead's record with Tiger's. Tiger's been beating the whole world, and Snead beat a lot of
Right.
club pros,
Well, Snead was
among
great,
others.
but that's a big record. You know, the most tournaments won, which Tiger will probably have. That's a big record also.
Yes.
But Tiger does admit that the majors are the criteria.
Yes.
And so you have to go with Jack.
Now, Donald, I know you've got the King of Saudi Arabia waiting for us. We're going to wrap up here. But can we play a quick game of word association? I'm going to name a golf figure. You tell me in a sentence what comes to mind.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Phil Mickelson.
Unbelievable guy, tremendous talent, just a charismatic figure, so good for golf.
Gil Hanse.
A really great architect, could not have been happier. I gave him Doral, did a fantastic job with his partner Jim Wagner. Just gave him Dubai, he's doing that. Could not be happier, really talented golf architect.
Natalie Golbis.
A beautiful person, she was on The Apprentice, did very well on The Apprentice too, and obviously a very good golfer.
I'm going to tell a very quick Natalie Golbis story. You and I are playing together once. You get a call, it's Natalie Golbis, or you call her and she says, you say, I saw you on page 6 today. It says that Ben Roethlisberger dumped you. Ben Roethlisberger did not dump you. You dumped him. You call page 6 and you tell him, I dumped him.
That's right.
I thought that was very wise advice.
Don't ever let anyone know that you got dumped, Natalie. I did give her that advice. I don't know if she needed advice, but I did give her that advice. It's very funny.
Tom Watson.
Fantastic guy. I actually played a round of golf with him against Natalie Golbis and Annika, and he is just an amazing guy. And he's got to be the greatest links player ever because he's won 5 majors, 5 Open championships,
Could've won
and he also
7
won
easily.
either 3 or 5 seniors.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's never been anything like that. I really like him a lot, and I think he's a great choice for the Ryder Cup.
Yes. Jack Nicklaus.
One of the greats. Great person, especially when you get to know him. Obviously, the greatest golfer. I just find him to be a very special person, and he's a rock. You know, some people are solid, and some people aren't.
Yeah.
Jack is a rock.
How
He's
about
the
the
rock
memory?
of Gibraltar.
the memory the man has is astonishing. You have a great memory.
His
He has
memory
memories.
is great. His loyalty is great. But Jack Nicklaus is a terrific man, and that goes with Jack and Arnold and Gary Player. We just named a villa after Gary Player at
Yes, I saw
Doral. But Jack is a very special guy.
Tiger Woods.
A really good guy. I tell you what, I've gotten to know him very well. And he cut a ribbon because we have the Tiger Woods Villa. He just cut a ribbon for us at Doral. Tremendous talent, a really good guy. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, some people don't like Tiger. I will tell you, Tiger has a great heart and he's a good guy. And he's going to be trying to break that record, and he might very well do it.
Last one, Donald Trump.
Well, I have a lot of fun. I enjoy employing thousands and thousands of people all over the world, really, but in this country, lots of people. And I enjoy doing a really good job, whether it's golf or building buildings like we're in right now, Trump Tower. I have a lot of fun with life.
Well, I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you over the years,
very
Donald.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Really
Michael.
a pleasure.